In One Way Home, the night isn't silent. It whispers, twists, and devours. You step into the fragile mind of a young boy trapped in a surreal nightmare where reality bends and nothing feels safe. Every corner hides secrets, every shadow stalks, and the world itself feels like a puzzle desperately trying to lock you in forever. This is not just about running or solving, it's about survival through thought and courage. Platforms shift, memories fade, and fear takes shape as monstrous echoes of the boy's darkest moments. Each step forward is a gamble between hope and horror, but stopping means surrendering to the nightmare forever. There's only one rule here: find the path, solve the impossible, and face your fears head on, because in this place, there's only one way home. Welcome to Infinity Gaming, where we guide you through the unknown. And today, we're diving deep into this haunting journey you won't forget. In One Way Home, you embody Jimmy Taylor, a 12-year-old boy thrust into a surreal nightmare following a mysterious car accident. As Jimmy regains consciousness, the world around him is eerily silent and distorted, resembling his hometown, yet devoid of life. Police cars flash their lights, but no officers are present. Familiar streets are now twisted corridors of dread. This unsettling environment sets the stage for a journey that is as much about navigating a treacherous landscape as it is about confronting the fears and traumas that lurk within Jimmy's psyche. The game's narrative unfolds through environmental storytelling and fragmented memories, compelling players to piece together the events that led to this haunting odyssey. One Way Home challenges players with a blend of platforming and puzzle-solving mechanics that demand both agility and intellect. Jimmy must traverse a world filled with obstacles that require careful timing and strategic thinking. Environmental puzzles are intricately woven into the game's design, often necessitating the manipulation of objects and the environment itself to progress. The game also introduces a unique mechanic involving a shape-shifting companion that can transform into useful objects, aiding Jimmy in overcoming various challenges. This companion not only serves as a gameplay tool, but also adds depth to the narrative, symbolizing the support and resilience found in unexpected places. The game's visual design masterfully captures the essence of a child's nightmare. Muted colors, distorted architecture, and unsettling imagery create an atmosphere that's both captivating and disconcerting. Every element, from the flickering lights to the looming shadows, contributes to a sense of unease that permeates the journey. The environments are meticulously crafted to evoke a sense of dread and isolation, immersing players in a world where every corner hides a new terror. This atmospheric design not only enhances the horror elements, but also reinforces the game's themes of fear and uncertainty. Sound plays a pivotal role in One Way Home, with ambient noises, haunting melodies, and sudden auditory cues heightening the tension and immersing players in Jimmy's harrowing experience. The game's sound design is meticulously crafted to evoke emotion, from the subtle creak of a floorboard to the chilling whispers that hint at unseen dangers. These auditory elements not only enhance the atmosphere, but also serve as crucial gameplay cues, alerting players to nearby threats or guiding them through the environment. The interplay between sound and silence is used effectively to build suspense and deliver impactful moments throughout the game. As the journey unfolds, Jimmy's character evolves in response to the challenges he faces. Initially portrayed as timid and vulnerable, he gradually gains confidence and resilience, reflecting the player's choices and actions. This transformation is not just narrative but also mechanical, as new abilities and interactions become available, symbolizing Jimmy's growth and adaptability. The game's branching paths allow players to shape Jimmy's development, making each playthrough a personal and emotionally resonant experience. This character progression adds depth to the narrative, highlighting themes of courage, self discovery, and the loss of innocence. One Way Home excels in environmental storytelling, using the game's world to convey narrative elements without explicit exposition. Subtle details scattered throughout the environment, such as faded photographs, abandoned toys, and cryptic graffiti, offer glimpses into Jimmy's past and the events that shaped his psyche. These elements encourage players to piece together the narrative organically, fostering a deeper connection to the protagonist's journey. The game's use of the crayon story system, where players discover animated pastel sketches revealing information about the setting and Jimmy's personal history, adds a unique and emotionally impactful layer to the storytelling. The puzzles in One Way Home are thoughtfully designed to challenge and engage players, requiring keen observation and critical thinking. They range from logic-based conundrums to spatial reasoning tasks, each integrated seamlessly into the environment. Solving these puzzles not only progresses the story, but also provides a sense of accomplishment and insight into the game's world. The puzzles often reflect the game's themes, symbolizing Jimmy's internal struggles and the obstacles he must overcome. This integration of gameplay and narrative enhances the overall experience, making each puzzle a meaningful part of Jimmy's journey. Throughout the journey, Jimmy confronts entities that personify his deepest fears. These adversaries are not just obstacles, but representations of his internal struggles, each encounter requiring a unique approach, blending stealth, strategy, and sometimes confrontation. The game's enemies are designed to be genuinely terrifying, with distorted appearances and behaviors that evoke a sense of dread. These encounters reinforce the game's themes of facing and overcoming fear, adding tension and urgency to Jimmy's quest. The presence of these adversaries ensures that players remain engaged and invested in Jimmy's survival and growth. In One Way Home, visuals do more than fill the screen. They whisper stories, craft tension, and blur the fragile line between dream and nightmare. The artistic direction is deliberate and haunting, using muted, ghostly color palettes that reflect the protagonist's vulnerable and fractured psyche. The world is familiar, yet twisted. Suburban streets stretch into infinity. School lockers become towering walls, and everyday objects feel outsized and oppressive. This design forces players to constantly feel small, isolated, and at the mercy of a world that obeys no rules. Yet, amidst the darkness, moments of gentle beauty emerge: glowing streetlights in empty neighborhoods, pastel drawings that tug at nostalgia, and flickers of warm memories breaking through oppressive gloom. This surreal aesthetic is not random. It mirrors the chaos and complexity of a child's trauma and imagination. Everything looks slightly off, as though viewed through teary eyes, perfectly encapsulating the blurred emotional lens through which young Jimmy sees his hostile, decaying world. This is art with purpose, every brushstroke painted in fear, hope, and longing. At its core, One Way Home is more than puzzles and dark hallways. It is a deeply emotional story about facing fear and embracing growth. Jimmy is not just running from monsters or navigating tricky platforms. He is facing echoes of a broken past and the overwhelming weight of his own grief. Throughout the game, players watch him transform. At the beginning, Jimmy is visibly fragile, his body language reserved, his responses tentative. But as he braves twisted alleys and hostile dreamscapes, something quietly changes. His actions become more assured, his determination hardens, and his connection with his shape-shifting companion deepens. This journey isn't spoon-fed through exposition. It's revealed through subtle animations, increasingly confident interactions, and powerful silent moments where he stops to take in his haunting world. This is a journey of emotional ascent. The boy who enters One Way Home is not the same as the one who leaves. And if the player invests in his world, neither will they be. Unlike traditional puzzle platformers with linear paths, One Way Home invites players to return and to return differently. Its branching path system tied to Jimmy's evolving personality, sage, innocent explorer, transforms each playthrough into a new narrative journey. Choose wisdom, and you may find solutions that others can't. Embrace innocence, and the world may react in unexpectedly tender or terrifying ways. Lean into exploration, and entire sections of the dreamscape may reveal themselves. This dynamic choice system means every decision reverberates across the storyline, puzzles, and even endings. Some players may complete the game and feel closure, while others will finish only to be haunted by lingering mysteries, begging to be solved in another run. The result is not just multiple endings, but layered storytelling that evolves with the player's curiosity. Replayability here isn't a feature, it's a necessity for those who wish to truly understand every corner of Jimmy's troubled mind. In a world where reality itself warps and reshapes without warning, technical performance could make or break immersion. Thankfully, One Way Home excels here, delivering a smooth and seamless experience that never shatters the illusion. Transitions between dreamlike areas are fluid, with no intrusive loading screens, pulling players out of the tension. Animations, from Jimmy's cautious steps to the grotesque movement of enemies, are meticulously detailed, breathing life into every fearful encounter. Input responsiveness remains sharp and precise, an essential element in platforming and puzzle solving segments that often demand exact timing. Visual effects such as fog, distortion filters, and dynamic lighting run cleanly even in the most surreal sequences. But perhaps the most impressive technical feat is how all of these elements, sound, visuals, AI behaviors, synchronize perfectly to maintain suspense. Nothing feels out of place or jarring, making One Way Home feel not like a game engine at work, but as if you truly stepped inside a living, breathing nightmare. While One Way Home thrives on tension and challenge, the developers have ensured that its experience is inclusive and adaptable for players of varying skill levels. Accessibility isn't just a checklist here, it's woven into the game's design philosophy. From adjustable difficulty levels and puzzle hints to colorblind modes and control remapping, players can tailor the experience to their needs without compromising the game's integrity. The shape-shifting companion also plays a role in accessibility, offering alternative solutions to certain puzzles and combat scenarios, empowering players who may struggle with fast reflexes. More importantly, the narrative pacing allows players to breathe. Intense segments are balanced with moments of quiet reflection, making the experience approachable for those who may be sensitive to horror. By giving players the tools to shape both Jimmy's journey and their own, One Way Home becomes a rare horror platformer that is as welcoming as it is unforgiving, fear without frustration, and nightmares crafted for all. The community surrounding One Way Home has been instrumental in shaping its development. Players have actively participated in playtests, providing valuable feedback that the developers have used to refine gameplay mechanics and narrative elements. This collaborative approach has fostered a sense of ownership and connection among players, turning the game's journey into a shared experience. Fan theories, artwork, and discussions abound on forums and social media, reflecting the game's impact and the community's investment in its world. This engagement not only enriches the game's universe, but also exemplifies the powerful bond between creators and their audience. Behind One Way Home is Cyberhead, a small yet passionate team dedicated to delivering a profound gaming experience. Their commitment to storytelling, atmosphere, and player agency is evident in every aspect of the game. The developers have drawn inspiration from personal experiences and psychological themes, infusing the game with authenticity and emotional depth. Their meticulous attention to detail and willingness to explore complex narratives demonstrate a profound understanding of the medium's potential to convey powerful stories. This dedication ensures that One Way Home is not just a game, but a carefully crafted journey that resonates with players on multiple levels. One Way Home has garnered attention and praise from both critics and players for its compelling narrative and innovative gameplay. Reviewers have highlighted the game's ability to blend psychological horror with emotional storytelling, creating an experience that is both unsettling and deeply moving. The game's art direction, sound design, and character development have been lauded for their contribution to the immersive atmosphere. Players have expressed appreciation for the game's challenging puzzles and the meaningful choices that impact the story's outcome. This acclaim underscores the game's success in delivering a unique and impactful experience within the indie gaming landscape. One Way Home stands as a testament to the power of interactive storytelling. Its blend of challenging gameplay, atmospheric design, and poignant narrative offers a journey that is both harrowing and hopeful. The game's exploration of themes such as fear, resilience, and self discovery resonates deeply, leaving a lasting impression on players. As Jimmy navigates his nightmarish world, players are invited to reflect on their own experiences and emotions, making the journey a personal and transformative one. One Way Home is more than a game, it's an emotional odyssey that challenges and inspires. Embark on your own journey through the labyrinth of dreams. One Way Home awaits those ready to face their fears and discover the strength within. Available soon on Steam, this haunting adventure promises to captivate and challenge in equal measure. Don't miss the chance to experience this unforgettable tale. Join the community, share your journey, and become part of the story that is One Way Home. At first glance, One Way Home and Little Nightmares seem like kindred spirits. Both thrust players into macabre worlds where innocence is hunted and nightmares take shape. Yet beneath their surface, similarities lies a profound contrast in how they deliver fear. Little Nightmares leans heavily into grotesque surrealism. Its world is warped, exaggerated, and monstrous, turning childhood fears into literal, hulking horrors. One Way Home, however, plays its terror closer to reality. Abandoned streets, flickering sirens, and zombified silhouettes reflect a child's twisted perception of trauma and loneliness. Where Little Nightmares terrifies with the alien and the absurd, One Way Home disturbs with the familiar turned cold and unforgiving. Both games make players feel small and vulnerable, but One Way Home layers in emotional storytelling, allowing players to not just fear for Jimmy, but also to deeply understand why he fears. It's this psychological layering that makes One Way Home less about escape and more about healing. Inside is revered for its minimalist approach, stripping away dialogue and exposition in favor of stark imagery and oppressive atmosphere. One Way Home walks a similar path but chooses a more expressive and personal route, where Inside leaves players grasping for meaning in a cryptic dystopia. One Way Home pulls them directly into Jimmy's fractured psyche. The environments still speak volumes: a toppled bicycle, broken windows, discarded toys. Yet here, they are breadcrumbs to his backstory, not abstract art. Additionally, One Way Home introduces choice, something Inside deliberately avoids. Players steer Jimmy's personality and moral compass, influencing not only puzzles but the emotional tone of the journey itself. Both games are silent screams into the void, but One Way Home whispers more intimately, asking players not just to interpret, but to connect. And so, the boy's journey fades, but his story stays with us. One Way Home reminded us that some paths are twisted, some fears are real, and sometimes finding the way forward means facing the darkest parts of ourselves. Whether you choose wisdom, innocence, or the thrill of exploration, every step you take in this game reflects something deeper. Thank you for watching and joining us on this chilling, unforgettable adventure. If this story resonated with you, if the whispers, puzzles, and shadows kept you on the edge of your seat, be sure to like, comment, and share your thoughts below. What path did you take? What ending did you find? Let's discuss it together, right here on Infinity Gaming, where every journey, no matter how dark, is shared. Don't forget to subscribe for more incredible deep dives into the latest games, from the biggest blockbusters to the hidden indie gems like this. Until next time, stay sharp, stay brave, and as always, Infinity Gaming out.